Hello, my name is Erica Stewart and I'm a master gardener. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a living wreath. This is something that we're going to do in the workshop, the Through the Garden Gate workshop on February 3rd. But for those of you at home, I'm going to be demonstrating the whole procedure. You'll need a wreath form, and you can use any size. I'm using a 14-inch wreath form. You need moss. I'm using moss from my own woods. So I found that the moss that you buy online is very expensive, and we live in a mossy region, so I'm using our own moss. You'll need some soil. In our workshop, we're going to use soil tubes like this, but for the sake of this demonstration, soil tubes like this, I'm sorry, I didn't show you, but for the sake of our demonstration, we're just going to use potting soil. Now, the first thing that you need to do is to put down a layer of the moss, and this layer is going to go face down under the wreath. So I'll get a bunch of moss over here and we'll put it face down and just cover the wire. Goes on top. Okay. Now we have that pretty much covered on that side. Now the next thing, I think I might put a little more moss up here. It's a little thin. Okay, the next thing we want to do is to put a layer of soil in there. And I'm just going to use my hands because I'm a master gardener and my hands are always in dirt. So we're putting a layer of soil and I'm kind of pressing it into the moss and the wreath. And the soil, I'm just using a potting soil, but it would be good to dampen it a little bit. It'll help it to hold together a little bit better. I think I need a little more here out of the bag. And of course, the potting soil is sort of damp when you buy it. So it's not necessary to add much water to it. Okay, that's the second layer. Press it in. Okay, now we're going to put a layer of moss on top. This will be face out. And if you find different kinds of moss, like there's several different mosses that grow in our woods, it's kind of nice to have a little variety there. So this moss. And I like all the little lichens and different things that grow on the moss. It just makes it more interesting looking, I think. Okay, now you want to cover the wire completely, the frame completely. So, and this is a slightly different kind of moss. It's really pretty. Okay, well now the next step is to take some florist wire, this stuff, and wrap the wreath And if you want, you could kind of hook it at the bottom around the outer ring of the form. And then just start wrapping the wreath. And you want to have the wire about every 2 inches. So you're going to wrap all the way around so that it holds everything together. You can see that it wants to fall apart without the wire. And just keep doing that. I'm making this look very hard. It's actually not. This wire from here. I ran out, so I'm going to hook up again. And just continue wrapping so that the moss stays on there. And this is pretty important because if we don't wrap it well, it's not going to hold together. So while I'm wrapping this, I think I'll tell you about the plants. The plants that we're using are house plants. Now you could use house plants like we're doing. You could use herbs and make one for your, maybe a wreath for your kitchen out of herbs. You could do this with outdoor plants and make a wreath for your door. So whatever you want to do will be good. Love the idea of making one for the kitchen. It has herbs on it. And I think most herbs would be pretty happy in a warm environment, as long as you kept them nice and wet, nice and moist and in the sun. Okay, we're coming to the finish line here with the wire. And I'll cut it. I need it here. And this part got kind of jumbled, so I'm going to cut that off. And then I'll hook this underneath again. The next step is to put the plants in. And to do that, you need something that you can poke with. And I'm just going to use the ends of my little nippers here. And you're going to poke holes. And then you're going to take your plants. It's all sort of messy, but it's kind of fun. And remove most of the dirt. And there's the nice root. And put that down inside your wreath. If you want, you could kind of stick a little of that soil that dropped out back around. Another hole right here. Move a little dirt. And put this in so that it's in contact with the potting soil. There. Ivy. This is a lovely ivy plant. I think I would want to put that maybe down at the bottom so that it can grow downward. I'll put that one down here. Another bit of ivy, so I'll put that in there too. I'm just using my finger to poke holes, and it seems to be working fine. Okay, and here's a plant that can go there. It's a pretty little plant. I'm gonna need a little. Down there. And one thing I can mention is that to begin with, you might want to use pins, some U-pins to hold the plants in place. I could not find any. I thought of using bobby pins, but I didn't have time to find them. Okay, this one over here. This one has lots of roots. I think I'll put a little more soil in there for that. And okay, and maybe just one more. Put it right here. I'm making a colossal mess. It's been fun. Now I'm going to decorate. We're going to have Valentine's Day coming up here, so we thought we would decorate, and that's one of the things you can do with your living wreath is to decorate it for different holidays. So these are completely removable, and then you can put whatever it is, whatever holiday comes next. Put those decorations on your wreath. Put that up. And now then, one more. And maybe some of these pretty little pink hearts. That. That one's not going in. This is pretty nice. Okay, an important thing to know is that the wreath needs to sit on a table for about 3 weeks. So you don't want to put it up on the wall until the plants are fairly well rooted. The wreath needs to be watered. It needs to be spritzed fairly heavily right now, and then left on a table and spritzed, I would say at least once a week, maybe twice a week. And after 3 weeks, then you you can hang it on a wall. So I think that's everything. I can't really hold it up